Welcome to today's video. My name is Greg Locke on the Instagram account _Greg Locke, and I primarily coach women with PCOS. Over 500 successful transformations since January 2023. This ranges from first-time gym goer, stay-at-home mother, to professional boxer, actress, author, midwife, nurse, teacher, you name it. I love my job and I'm just getting onto the YouTube side of things now. I thought it's about time show more of my personality in long form content. And today's video is the PCOS journey timeline. So it's a timeline that I formulated and I want to break down. So let's get into it. So I created this timeline with one mission in mind. Make it as easy and simple as possible for a woman with PCOS, whether you've been diagnosed for months, years, or if you're newly diagnosed, to see the journey that you are going to go on and different selections during the journey that are going to shape your journey differently. So I have the timeline on my phone. Number one, you begin to notice symptoms, whether this is acne, fatigue, hair growth, your hair's thinning. But I would say the number one symptom whilst working with the women with PCOS that I've coached, over 500 since January 2023, is missing periods or irregular periods. Now let's get into number two. You try to get booked in with your GP. And I say try because we all know how hard getting booked in with your GP is. So you finally get booked in with your GP. On to number three, you're told things like, it's normal. So the irregular cycle, I've had clients tell me that a doctor said, you don't have to have a period as a woman. Like, what? What? How are you a doctor? It is absolutely crazy. By the way, I didn't mention I actually do coach doctors, currently coach 3 doctors right now. And in the past, over the last 2 to 3 years, I've coached many doctors. And of course, PCOS is controlled via the endocrine system stability and obviously improving your metabolic health. And these two things are controlled via the control hub, nutrition. Now, a doctor does less than 30 hours of nutrition studies in their 5+ year degree. So don't go to your GP for help with PCOS in terms of getting rid of the symptoms and getting into the best shape of your life. So you're told things are normal, like what? So on to number 4, symptoms persist. You begin Googling, you find out it may be PCOS, and book in with your doctor again. So whether this is weeks, months, or years, symptoms are still present. You've gone back to the doctor, booked in, and you've got that slot straight away. Probably not. So you're in with the doctor. On to number 5. Now this is the hard part, and this is the part that can literally take months or years itself. If you can go private, go private. If you haven't got the money to go private, you're going to have to wait after persuading your doctor to get the scans and tests for the actual PCOS diagnosis. So number 6, you finally get diagnosed. And what's crazy about this is I've never coached a woman and they said, I know what type of PCOS I have. If they say you're insulin resistant, then we know insulin resistant PCOS, and 70% of women are insulin resistant with PCOS. So this can be really helpful because always the number one part that you want to go after is blood sugar stability. Always remember that. First things first, obviously, if you're insulin resistant and you need to drop body fat, we always still want to go after blood sugar stability. This is extremely important. But instead, the doctor, as I said, they can't help with nutrition. They hand you some birth control or metformin and send you on your way. Number 7, Google becomes your best friend again. You soon realize it's a minefield with people trying to sell you products. And I know for a fact, if you're already on this journey, you have seen all of the PCOS supplements, yet there's no such thing as a PCOS supplement. Work that one out. And of course, all these Instagrammers are getting 10% discount codes, have the discount code and, buy the supplement. They get paid and the supplement does absolutely nothing apart from burn a hole in your bank. Actually, I'll tell you an interesting one. I had a woman and I literally flamed this in like a rage reel. The woman was told to have a supplement that lowers their testosterone, as commonly a woman with PCOS has high levels of androgens, which are commonly DHEAS and testosterone levels that are elevated. Although they'll never check for DHEAS, which can be a sign of the unwanted hair growth. But that's another story for another day. And this woman already had low testosterone, yet her doctor, or I think it was the doctor, said, take this testosterone lowering supplements, and she already had lower testosterone. This is why we need to be pinpoint, because without getting the specific help you need, you can literally be sending yourself further and further back, and that's classic from Google. So on to number 8, the best case scenario here is you find me personally, or if not me, another proven coach. If not, the next step is trying every single diet that you find, and this can last for years. Unfortunately, this is the most common thing that I see with women with PCOS. They're trying all different diets, low carb or full keto, baby food diet, water fasting, all of these myths basically. But these things don't work because the number one thing, they aren't tailored to the individual. Therefore, if the client works with me or another proven coach, we can tailor every single aspect of their nutrition, their training and lifestyle changes, the 3 things that control PCOS, to the individual. And that is so important because, like I said, this can last years. You can go round and round in circles, and 1,200 calorie diet is so damaging. And this is what all the doctors say to do. So pretend I'm a woman with PCOS. Here's 1,200 calories. I'm eating the 1,200 calories, but realistically, I need 2,200 calories. So my cortisol goes up straight away because I'm not fueling my body. And how am I going to have a period if I'm not fueling my body? Now you can already see it makes no sense at all. So cortisol's up. I can't have a period because I'm underfueled, over-restricted every single day. And then on top of that, I'm losing muscle. When you lose muscle, you slow your metabolic rate. Anyway, again, these are things that I'm going to be covering in other videos. So ideally, you would find a coach. And number 9, after trying every diet, if you go down that route, obviously it ends at 8 if you find the coach that's proven, because they're going to get you where you need to be. But if you go through the diet phase of things, trying to find random diets, you'll try every diet, your symptoms are now worse, you've smashed your endocrine system and metabolism, the things I've just covered. So you go on to number 10, you're at a crossroads now, life is different, you hardly recognize yourself, you find a proven coach and finally pluck up the courage to self-invest. Now, this is something that I wanted to touch on because obviously no one wants to spend money on their health. Sorry, no one wants to be spending like unnecessary money, especially as it's our self, if that makes sense. We believe that we can fix ourselves, we know how to lose weight, we have the knowledge, because all you have to do is eat less calories and exercise and run outside and you'll be losing weight. But obviously there's a lot more to it, and if you're watching this after months and years of trying that, you will be able to vouch for me that there is a lot more to it. And so you find the courage to finally go with a coach. And the sad thing is, from 8 to 10, this could be years apart, and that's years where you should be in a different place. You know, you should be getting on and living your life. But as I've written there, you can almost not recognize yourself anymore, because the issue is when you destroy your metabolism and you're living with hormonal instability, the symptoms of PCOS become more persistent and you will start to gain like considerable amounts of weight. And you don't want to go down this path. So hopefully you stop at 8 and you literally, I'm going to have to spend some money. I'm going to have to invest in myself. Like I said, no one wants to do it, but it's the whole, like, if I had a car and the car engine broke, then I'm not going to be able to fix that myself. For one, I've got my own day-to-day, my own stresses, my own job, you know, to learn how to fix a car engine. And just because it's your body, it doesn't mean it's anything different than the car engine. You're still going to have to go through a process of learning how to fix your body. And I know it's our body and we like to think we can do it all ourselves, but that's like me thinking that I can become a dentist and or a surgeon because it's my body. You know, it doesn't really work like that. So on to 11, if you decided to take birth control, so this is going back to 8, if you didn't want to work with a coach and you decided to take the birth control from the doctor, you now want to conceive, so you come off of it. Or you, not necessarily just because you want to conceive, but you may come off of it because you don't want to be taking synthetic hormones anymore. Also, the contraceptive pill has anabolic effects, as it's a anabolic synthetic hormone. So estrogen, for example, has anabolic side effects. Anabolic meaning you're gaining, catabolic meaning you're losing. So you now come off to try and conceive and you realize your endocrine system is more mess than ever. So if you go over to my Instagram, you can see the pin post where I helped a woman conceive, and I was in Norway and I got the great news. And this was such an amazing feeling because she had tried and tried and tried and tried. And it's not just like a physical drain on your body, it's also a mental drain. If you're going through this or have been going through it, you have to set your body up in the strongest way to conceive. This is extremely important. And whilst you are on the contraception, you are putting a mask over the deep-rooted hormonal instability. So when you come off of it, it's still there. This has to be taken into account. Doctors should say, you're not fixing your hormonal instability via nutrition, training, and lifestyle changes. You are putting a mask over the issue. And when you come off of it to conceive, you're going to have to fix that issue. You're going to have to address it. It just doesn't randomly go. On to step 12. You then complete step 10. So you go back to step 10. And if you miss step 10, the other option is to begin studying nutrition and hormones. There is no other way to learn other than step 10 or studying. So going back to the mechanic thing, in life, you can pay for knowledge in two ways. You can pay with time or you can pay with money. There's no other way of getting around this. You can't randomly wake up and you have all the knowledge injected into your brain because you had a dream. And no one can just like give you this amount of free knowledge either, because, you know, this is a complex topic. If this individual has this sort of knowledge, even so, it's still going to be time, isn't it? So it's time and money. So me, again, going back to the mechanic, I can pay for the car engine to be fixed, or I can learn how to fix it, because I am completely capable of learning how to fix a car engine. Like everybody watching this, as a woman, you're completely capable of learning how to control your endocrine system via nutrition, training, and lifestyle changes. Whether you have that time to invest, so you're paying with time there, is another question. You know, you have your own life, your own struggles, your own stresses. It's better to hire a coach. If possible, if feasible, it's better to pay for knowledge in life, in every aspect of life, if possible. So I hope this video has been a help. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a subscribe. If you have any questions, go over to Instagram _Greg Lock. I'll put it in the description below. I really appreciate the support on the first video. I think it's got like 66 views and 4 likes. So, and if you viewed that or viewed it and liked it, really appreciate it. And if you're subscribed, I think I'm on 58 subscribers, really appreciate it. Peace.